I currently hold and utilize Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, and IHG credit cards. And so in this video, I'm going to discuss why I have hotel credit cards with all four major hotel brands. I'll discuss the specific benefits of diversifying my hotel credit cards across a couple different hotel brands and the long-term value that I'm able to get from each of them. And then I will also discuss the other side of things, so the downsides of hotel card diversification and if I've been doing it wrong the whole time. Finally, I am also going to discuss what my future plans are, so I'll discuss some plans that I have with my current hotel credit card lineup, and then also some hotel cards that I plan to add to my setup in the future as well. But without further ado, I wanted to start by discussing my hotel credit card timeline up to this point. So I'm going to discuss when I got each hotel credit card, why I got that card at the time that I did, and then how I'm using that card in my long-term setup right now. So the first hotel credit card that I ever got was the $0 annual fee Hilton Honors Card, which I got in the summer of 2021. I got this card at the time because I was able to take advantage of an elevated 100,000 point offer, and I wanted to utilize some of those points for my future honeymoon stay, and it was also my introduction into hotel credit cards overall. Now in my current setup, the Hilton Honors Card is more or less a sock drawer card. I just put a small reoccurring charge on the card to keep it active, but I don't really use it in my setup at all. The next hotel credit card that I got was in December of 2021 when I got the Hilton Surpass card. The reason that I applied for the Hilton Surpass card was a similar concept to why I got the Hilton Honors Card. So I believe I was able to take advantage of an elevated offer of about 150,000 points at the time, and I wanted to rack up as many Hilton Honors points as I could for some of my future stays, including my honeymoon. But then I also got this card because there were some other benefits that I wanted to take advantage of. So like getting automatic Hilton Gold status that could take my Hilton stays even further. Now, in terms of how I utilize the Hilton Surpass in my current credit card setup, I have had some movement both upstream and downstream. So I've downgraded cards and upgraded them to be able to take advantage of Hilton upgrade bonuses. So with that, I do currently have the Hilton Surpass open right now. And what I'm essentially doing is I take advantage of the automatic Hilton Gold status. And then I also buy $50 Hilton gift cards every quarter in order to trigger that $200 Hilton credit, which I'm going to liquidate at the end of the year. So after that, I did take a break from getting hotel credit cards to focus on Chase cards. And so my next hotel credit card that I applied for was in March of 2023. And that card was actually my first business credit card. So it was the Hilton Honors Business. I applied for this card because again, I wanted to take advantage of an elevated offer to rack up some more Hilton Honors points, but also I was over 524, so I really wanted to focus on my 524 status so I could get that lower and get Chase credit cards again. And so since this was a business card, it wouldn't affect that. And so that's the specific reason that I applied for the Hilton Honors Business when I did. Now in my current credit card setup, the Hilton Honors Business is actually canceled because of too much crossover with the Hilton Surpass, and overall just wanting to cut down on some of my annual fees. The next hotel credit card that I applied for was in August of 2023 when I applied and got approved for the Marriott Bonvoy Business. In terms of why I applied, the first reason was because I wanted to keep my credit profile in mind. I was still over 524, so I wanted to make sure that I was conscious about specifically applying for business cards. But then in terms of the long-term value as well, I was able to get 3 free night awards from the welcome bonus, which I used when I stayed in Medellin, Colombia over the past year. And then I also get automatic Marriott Gold Elite status and a free night award on my card member anniversary every single year, valued up to 35,000 Marriott points. So now I still have the Bonvoy Business open and it will stay in my setup long term because the free night award will outpace the annual fee. I think getting Marriott Gold Elite status is just the cherry on top. The next hotel credit card that I applied for was in February of this year in 2024 when I got the Chase World of Hyatt card. So one of the main reasons that I applied for this card is I was able to take advantage of an elevated offer of 65,000 total Hyatt points. Typically that welcome offer is only 60,000 points, so it's not that much of a difference, but typically there's no elevated offer as well, so I just wanted to take advantage when I could. And then this card also does come with a free night award valued up to a category 4 Hyatt property, so I'm just going to use that to offset the fee every year. And yeah, basically to reiterate that, I still use this card in my setup because I just use the free night award every year and call it good without outpacing the annual fee. Now the newest hotel credit card that I added to my setup was actually in May of 2024, so pretty recently, and it was the IHG Premier Business. So one of the main reasons that I applied for this card when I did is because I did have a little bit of urgency because there was a limited time elevated offer where I was able to earn up to 175,000 IHG points, with 140,000 of those points being available to me after $4,000 in spending in 3 months. In terms of how I'm using the card right now, well, first of all, I'm still spending towards hitting that minimum spend requirement to get the welcome offer. And then long term, I'm going to continue to hold this card in my setup because I will get a free night award valued up to 40,000 IHG points that can offset that annual fee. Then I'll also get other benefits like automatic IHG Platinum Elite status and my 4th night free when I book a stay with points. So now that I've given you a timeline on my hotel credit card journey up to this point, let's get into my perceived benefits of holding all of these cards. So the first benefit of holding all of these different hotel credit cards is going to be diversification in terms of the flexibility of options that I'll have and the exposure to all of these different hotel programs. Sometimes in the credit card world, it can be better to concentrate, but in terms of my own travel preferences, I think diversification is key. Sometimes in my own travel plans, I'm not traveling to super touristic or super popular places, but I'm traveling to more under the radar destinations. And so with that, there aren't like unlimited options with every hotel brand, but instead there's specific options with specific hotel brands that I care about the most. My travel preferences aren't typically to places like Paris, where there's a plethora of different hotel options with different hotel brands. And instead, as an example, I went to Medellin, Colombia last year, and one of the only hotel brands that had exposure in Medellin was Marriott. And of course, I'm not always traveling to more under the radar destinations with less options, and sometimes I travel to more touristic places as well. But even then, I think diversification is key with giving me a bunch of different options. So I have a bunch of different hotels that I can choose from, and I can pick the one with the best view or the best spa or something like that. And also diversification allows me to pick the hotels that are going to give me the best redemption value in relation to the value that those points typically hold. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some downsides to hotel card diversification, and I will get into that a little bit more in a second. But first, the second benefit to having hotel card diversification is always having some sort of elevated status. So regardless of what hotels or what programs that I stay with, I'm always going to have some sort of elevated status. So to give a breakdown of those statuses, I get Hilton Gold status from my Hilton Surpass, Marriott Gold Elite status from my Bonvoy Business, Hyatt Discoverist from the Chase World of Hyatt, and then IHG Platinum Elite status from my IHG Premier Business. Elite statuses are not made the same. Some are just going to be better than others, so I'm going to give a quick note about each of them. So Hilton Gold status that I get from my Hilton Surpass is the second highest status with Hilton, and I think is honestly really underrated for my own lifestyle, because a lot of times Hilton Gold status is discounted as not being very valuable, and I do agree there is a lot of saturation, so domestic travel might not be the best with this, but I've actually gotten a ton of value when I've traveled internationally with my Hilton Gold status from my Hilton Surpass. So in my honeymoon at the Waldorf Astoria Cancun, we got upgraded to a swim up suite. And then in Panama, we got upgraded to an ocean view room, both of which were much more expensive rooms, and we got free breakfast at both hotels as well. Marriott Gold Elite status is the third highest status with Marriott that I get from my Bonvoy Business, and it is less valuable, I would say, than Hilton Gold status, but there is still some value to be found from like room upgrades, especially internationally. And a lot of times Marriott has the best presence in the places I travel to. So especially in Latin America, Marriott typically has the most amount of options. So that's why I actually value this pretty highly. Then there's Hyatt Discover status, which I get from my Chase World of Hyatt card, which honestly is not very valuable, but at least it's a step up from being a Hyatt member status. IHG Platinum Elite status is the status that I get from my IHG Premier Business card, so it's the newest status that I haven't had a chance to put to use yet, but it is the second highest status with IHG and can give you room upgrades as well. I will say that there is a downside with having spread out status, so I don't have like ultra high status with any hotel brand, so I'm kind of capped out and I don't have a high enough ceiling in terms of the amount of benefits that I get for any particular stay, and I will get into that a little bit more in a second. The third benefit of my hotel card diversification strategy is that a lot of these cards are keeper cards, so it's pretty easy to get positive value with the value outpacing the annual fee every year. The reason for this is because a lot of these cards have free night awards that I get on my card member anniversaries every year, which basically means I just have one singular benefit to keep track of and make sure that I'm utilizing. And if I do that, I'm probably going to get more value than the annual fees on a lot of the cards. Specifically, I get automatic free night awards on my IHG Premier Business, on my Chase World of Hyatt, and on my Marriott Bonvoy Business. And each of the free night awards on those three credit cards do have slight differences in terms of their redemption caps for how far the free night awards can take you. But the commonality is that they can all be used at hotels that have a cash rate of about $200, which is going to outpace the annual fees on each of them. I love traveling and seeing different areas of a particular particular country when I travel, meaning that I do have a lot of different one-off hotel stays in specific locations, and free night awards can be a great use for that. So I personally love having a bunch of different hotel credit cards and the diversification that comes with it, but there are always two sides to the story, so let's discuss some downsides of my current setup. The first downside to hotel card diversification is that points and benefits are too spread out. If you just take my own situation, yes, I do have a lot of different elite statuses, but I don't have the highest statuses with any specific program. Sometimes you might have like forced loyalty in terms of like staying at specific hotel brands or airline brands, maybe just for work or because of location, so where you actually live and what makes the most sense. And in that case, diversification usually isn't the best because just having middle of the pack statuses that get you a little but not a lot probably won't make sense if you're traveling a lot for work or you just have specific preferences with specific hotel brands. And instead, it would make sense to just go all out and make a big splash with one specific status. From a points perspective, having points that are spread out across a lot of different ecosystems can also have its downsides. Because when your points are spread out, you can't book the best and most luxurious properties with specific hotel brands, or even book properties for extended stays, so like for your honeymoon or an anniversary trip or something like that. Another downside with my hotel card diversification is that it can be more difficult to utilize free night awards. What I mean by this is that with Hilton and Marriott, when you book a stay of 5 nights or more with points, you get your 5th night free. And with IHG, when you book a stay of 4 nights or more with points, you get your 4th night free. So going off my previous point, to book 4 or 5 nights in a row with points, you typically need more concentration in specific programs in terms of your points, and it can be more difficult to do this when your points are spread out. And then in order to take advantage of that 5th or 4th night free benefit, which is honestly really underrated and can really get you a lot of value for your points, you do need to stay in one location and at one specific property. And it can be tougher to commit to doing so when you have a bunch of different free night awards that are incentivizing you to move around to different properties and stay at different hotels. So my plan is to have one specific trip that I kind of call my free night award trip, where I basically stay in an area where there's a lot of different hotel programs. So that could be like DC, Southern California, New York, or something like that, where I have the flexibility to move around to different hotels and I utilize all my free night awards in one trip. Then for my other trips, I'll take a really conscious approach of taking advantage of those 4th and 5th night free benefits. So that's an overview of my hotel credit card journey and what some of the big benefits and downsides are within my setup. But now let's take a look at what my future plans are. So I do plan to downgrade the Hilton Surpass somewhat soon, since I'm planning on getting the Amex Platinum, which will give me that same Hilton Gold status. I plan to keep open the Marriott Bonvoy Business, Chase World of Hyatt, and IHG Premier Business for the free night awards every year. And then I do want to get into the luxury hotel credit card game sometime in the next year or two. So I plan to add the Hilton Aspire, then also a Marriott card as well. So either the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant or the Chase Ritz-Carlton, which will solve downside number 1 of having higher statuses and higher benefits with specific programs. But I'm curious to hear from all of you, so let me know down in the comments what your hotel credit card strategy has looked like up to this point. And if you enjoyed this video, then I think you'll enjoy this other video where I ranked every single hotel credit card, so go check out that video next. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.